Hi guys, Ty Lord here with a movie pickups video. I have some wonderful movies this week, but I'm going to start off with a package I got from my buddy, the Retro Tiburon, over there at the Retro Wave podcast. Go check out his website, the podcast site, and I'll put a link to that and his YouTube channel and his Instagram. I don't know how to do that, but I'll put the YouTube and the Retro Wave podcast site. Check out his podcast. Tyler here was in his most recent podcast about our favorite 90s horror movies. I was a special guest along with Physical Media Mac over at DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn, and our buddy Zomberry. So we had a good time doing that, and I think it's already posted on the 1st of October on the website. Can you guess what my 5 favorite horror movies are from the 90s? I don't think it would be that hard if you know me. Anyway, but so the package he sent me, I'm going to start off. The first thing in the package I saw was this nice new headset. He wants to play Xbox with me online, but I really haven't had time with the girls. The girls have been playing Minecraft on there. But I think he got this for me in case I'm ever on one of his podcasts again, because I was using a Dollar Tree headset. So it probably didn't sound too good. But I have a decent headset here now. It's called a Recon Chat. It's fantastic stuff from the flea market that he got. So I can't wait to use that one next time I chat with someone online. And then he sent me a bunch of movies. It's like the weekly Retro Wave pack lately. He's been sending me packages. I haven't been able to keep up. Maybe send him one like once a month. But I'll start off with the oldest media. He sent me. I'm sure he said that to me because I'm a Bond fan. Thunderball on VHS. I already have this. I have pretty much every copy of every Bond movie on every print of VHS, but I already had this. But I always will take more of these because I know they're all going to disappear eventually. And there's a fantastic movie, the 4th 007 movie from 1965. Directed by Terrence Young, who directed the first 2 movies, Dr. No and From Russia with Love. This one's a fantastic spy thriller set in the Bahamas. A lot of cool underwater action with sharks, scuba divers, frogmen, having a battle underwater. Very beautiful women in here. Probably, I think this one, it would be hard to pick a Bond movie with the most beautiful women, but this one is probably in people's top picks. Sean Connery's a stud in here. He's always in his swim trunks, showing off his physique. Hairy chest like Ty Lord. A fantastic movie. So that I could go on about that for days, but then he sent me some DVDs. I'll do those first. A lot of these I already had, but he knows I'm into stuff like this. Here's Sharktopus. And I don't know if I have it with a slip cover. Sci-Fi original. I've seen this before. It was garbage. It had Eric Roberts on there, so I enjoyed it. So a CGI fest made for Sci-Fi Channel. So I might save all my extra dupes of shark movies and do a giveaway. I'm trying to find some shark fans to be friends with. It's like Jaws and shark movie fans to be friends with. Speaking of that, here's another one I already had. This one has a slip sheet, so I don't know if I have the slip sheet or not. This 3-pack with Croc, Sea Beast, and Shark Swarm. I've talked about this one before. I already have it. I've never seen Croc or Sea Beast, but Shark Swarm is the one that caught my eye. And it has John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. It's got Daryl Hannah's in there and Armand Assante. It's got a good cast. Armand Assante is kind of like the Murray Hamilton of the movies, like the Crooked Mayor or the the real estate guy. I can't remember. Even F. Murray Abraham is in it. But it seemed kind of like a low budget Jaws, made for TV Jaws, but I enjoyed that one. I've talked about that one before. Here's another one already had. And that would be fantastic movie, John Boorman film Deliverance, with Jon Voight and Burt Reynolds, two of my favorite big time actors. Really, this is not a horror movie, I guess. It's more like a thriller drama, but this is freaking terrifying. If you've never seen it, I really highly recommend it. I already have it, and this is sealed. I'd be delighted to share this with someone if anyone's interested. I'm sure you can probably watch it on Netflix. It's about these city boys on a raft trip, and they're going through this area that's recently been flooded, like a backwood area, and they get confronted by these like hills or people, these guys that are like kind of like hillbillies. And they attack these city boys and try to rape them. They try to rape, what's his name is in here. Ned Beatty is one of the city boys. Oh man, this movie's disturbing. And then after that, it just gets worse. Another one I already had, but I'm surprised he sent me something that nice. Maybe. Piranha 2, The Spawning, James Cameron film. I've always loved this movie. One of my childhood favorites. I don't know why my parents let me watch something like this. They didn't let me watch Friday the 13th. But I watched this. There's nudity, there's gore, swearing. Lance Hendrickson's in it. And trying to think of it, Lance Hendrickson was in quite a few James Cameron movies after this. This is a sequel to the first one, totally unrelated as far as the characters. So if you haven't seen either of them, doesn't matter what order you watch them. And this one's about the mutated piranhas are out in the ocean, and somehow they mate or they spawn with flying fish. So now these piranha can fly. It's super corny, but I think it's a pretty good, scary, corny movie. Very cheesy. And I think it takes itself pretty seriously. It has some comic relief in there, but for the most part, it kind of takes itself seriously. And then he sent me this one I didn't have. IMAX TRex. I'm sure that's something you would have watched at the IMAX with really great special effects. Maybe, I don't know if it's a documentary or what. I haven't looked into that, but I don't know if I'm keeping that or not. He sent me this Benny Hill Golden Greats. I don't know if that's the best of the Benny Hill show. Gosh darn it. I don't know if I'll keep that or not. I haven't seen this show in years. I don't really remember much about it. It's a comedy show from Britain, I think. And it was pretty funny. My wife and my in-laws were more into this than I am. Let me know about Benny Hill. I know it had a lot of pretty women in there with cleavage. And then Elizabeth Hurley, speaking of pretty women and British women, I think, isn't she British? Kill Cruise. Jeff was talking about this one, about some guy that's out on a sailboat with these two young hot women, and there's something shady going on. It's got, what's his name, Jürgen Prochnow is in there. I don't know if I'm going to watch that or not. It has a cool title, Kill Cruise. And then this really nice one here I'm happy to have. 4-movie marathon cult horror collection. Funhouse. I've never seen that, unfortunately. And Phantasm 2. I really like Phantasm 2. I already have a collection of those, but it's on this I haven't seen. I was sure it's about snakes. Saya, did you see what he did? All right, yeah, it must be a snake movie. The cool one on here is Serpent in the Rainbow. That's a really cool, scary suspense like voodoo movie. And I think that is Wes Craven. Yeah, Wes Craven. This is a cool movie. It has a lot of cool, trippy effects. I recommend that movie, Serpent in the Rainbow. I think it has that one guy. What's his name? Bill Pullman and Kathy Tyson. Yeah, this is a trippy movie though. Rainbow and Serpent and the Rainbow, about like zombie voodoo stuff. And then we'll finish off with the Blu-rays he sent me. Here's a copy of Leatherface. I don't think I had that one. That one's on Blu-ray. We did a rank and review every Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie over on DVD's Nuts and Popcorn's channel. And I don't think I placed this one too high on the list, but it was an enjoyable kind of grody movie. And then, oh my god, Mercenary for Justice with Steven Seagal. I'm sure this is fantastic. I'm sure it's fairly recent and fairly fantastic. And then this one, Dead Mine. That one might be interesting. It looks like a samurai zombie movie. And it looks like looks like critics are raving about it. It looks like it's the same critic that has the quote on both sides. I don't know. I think it looks like something I will like. And then here's one, Stone Cold Steve Austin in Damage. Damage, Bring the Pain. Well, it looks like illegal underground fight movie, so that might be good. To tell the truth, I haven't seen that many Stone Cold Steve Austin movies, unfortunately. Like, I'm sure he's in a lot of stuff I like. I'm sure they're better than Seagal movies, and I'm sure he's crossed over into Seagal movies. But I gotta watch more of Stone Cold Steve Austin movies. Let me tell you something, you silly piece of trash. You gotta watch my damn movies. And then one more here I already had. At least I think I had this. I thought Jason Vectrex sent me this. Resident Evil Apocalypse on Blu-ray. And I really enjoy this movie. I don't know what people complain about with these. Like it has like the look and the visuals of the game down pretty good. It doesn't really follow the story of the game, but it has the cool looking characters. Like Nemesis is in here. The Nemesis monster looks rad. I don't care if Mia Jovovich isn't from the game. She's a fantastic actress and fantastic to look at. Yeah, I think after this they started going downhill, but I enjoyed this one. They were all pretty fun though. Okay, and that's it for the package from Retro T-Barone. Thanks again, Mario, for that stuff. I do appreciate it. I'll be sending more stuff out your way. So now I'll get to my pickups. And I found some fantastic stuff this week. Oh my goodness. And something came in the mail from Vinegar Syndrome. Check this out. Don the Dragon Wilson and Red Sun Rising. Vinegar Syndrome released with the slipcover. And it has I guess that's the original VHS art. I don't remember it looking like that. I remember he was like holding a gun. Like, and there was like it was overlooking a city. And there was like a sun in the background. Yeah, I like this movie. This is one of my favorite Don the Dragon Wilson movies, and it wasn't available over here on any media other than VHS. It's all like Region B or whatever. I haven't looked at it yet to see how good the picture looks, but everything so far I've gotten from Vinegar Syndrome looks fantastic. Like all the Jalal Murhi movies I got look great. Like they look crystal clear. Yeah, but this one has Don the Dragon Wilson. He's like a cop from Japan, and he's tracking down the Yakuza, and there's like some arms dealing going on. He's in the United States, and and he's working with this really beautiful woman right here, this detective. What's her name from Star Trek? One of those Star Trek shows. Her name is Terry Farrell. I don't really care for Star Trek. My wife is all about it. I think she's in Deep Space Nine. She plays like this character that her consciousness is some like worm thing inside of her head that's lived for that's an immortal thing, kind of like Jason Voorhees on Jason Goes to Hell. But she's a super attractive woman. It's nice watching Star Trek just to see her in there. But she's in this, and she's a pretty darn good actress. I think she's pretty underrated. And the police chief, like, you're a loose cannon, Don the Dragon Wilson, Michael Ironside, he plays the captain. It's directed by I'm not really familiar with this guy, Francis McGahey. I think he's done like mostly TV stuff or stuff I haven't seen, but I like this movie. It's a higher quality. Like, it's probably not as cheesy as a lot of Don the Dragon Wilson movies, although the cheese is there. The acting's pretty good. I think even Don Wilson himself thinks this is like he's most proud of this role, his acting. This girl is fantastic in it. What's cool about this is the bad guy is James Liu, and he's kind of like this cool, like, supernatural type vampire, like Yakuza guy. He's really awesome in this. James Liu is the bad guy. And then the other bad guy is, his name is Su Teko, and I recognize him from The Man with a Golden Gun. He played Detective Hip in The Man with a Golden Gun. So Bond actor in there. I always look out for those. And then Art Camacho did the fight choreography in this. If you don't know who Art Camacho is, that just shows how underrated he is as a stunt coordinator, choreographer, and action movie director. He didn't direct this one, but Art Camacho did the fight choreography in this, I believe. Yeah. So, man, I'm really happy to have that. I haven't seen this in a while, so it'll be cool to watch this again. And speaking of Don the Dragon Wilson, I really lucked out today when I went to Rasputin's. I took in a bunch of trash that Jeff and Mario sent me for credit, and then my in-laws were putting new flooring in, so they were throwing away a bunch of stuff to get it out of the way, and they gave me a bunch of CDs to go take in. I think I only got like $12 for them. But speaking of Don the Dragon Wilson, with my $27 credit, I found some fantastic things. These were $3 a piece. I hadn't seen them there before. I found 3 Blood Fist movies. Can you believe it? I'm a fan of all of these movies. Roger Corman presents, Roger Corman production, Blood Fist 3, really good prison movie. Like, this is really underrated prison movie. Another one that's not super corny, like, take yourself pretty seriously. It's a pretty good prison movie. I can't think of many more prison movies I like more than this one. Don the Dragon Wilson is in there. And then Richard Roundtree's in it. He's kind of like the shot caller, one of the more respected guys in prison, and he's like really good in this. There's a lot of interesting characters, a lot of thugs fighting with Don the Dragon Wilson. There's like the white gang and the black gang, and they're all trying to get him. And eventually, like the leader of the white gang and the leader of the black gang are buddies because they hate Don the Dragon Wilson so much. Yeah, this has cool. Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham, the kickboxer's in here too. He has a lot of good fights in this. Look at all these fantastic headliners here. Whatever. It looks like they're all from martial art magazines though, so of course they're gonna like it. So I enjoyed that one. Blood Fist 3. The weird thing about these movies is he never plays the same character in any of the movies. I think the first 2 movies he plays the same character, but after that it's always a different character. It's not even related to Blood Fist 1 and 2. It just keeps that title. I don't know, maybe they made more money that way, or because those 2 were popular anyway. Blood Fist 5, fantastic one too. And that one has Steve James from American Ninja 1, 2, and 3 is in there. And Yuji Okamoto from Karate Kid 2 is in here. This is a cool movie where he's like, you don't know if he's like a drug. He loses his memory, wakes up, he meets this woman, and people are out to get him, and he doesn't know why. And he doesn't know if he's like a drug lord or if he's an FBI agent undercover. But this is a decent one. Directed by Jeff Jonas, and I think he just did mostly stuff like a lot of stuff from the 90s, like straight to DVD or straight to VHS. And then here we have Blood Fist 6 Ground Zero, baby, with Don the Dragon Wilson. And this one's directed by Rick Jacobson, who's done a lot. I think he's gone on to big stuff recently, but he's done a lot of Don the Dragon and Michael Dudikoff movies back in the day. A lot of good ones, and a lot of Blood Fist-esque movies like Full Contact with Jerry Trimble and Dragonfire, that weird sci-fi movie that's like Blood Fist in space. But this one is about a nuclear, there's a nuclear missile facility's been hijacked by terrorists, and Don the Dragon Wilson's trying to save the day. It's kind of like Die Hard in a facility. This one never really stuck out to me as one of the better ones, but it's enjoyable. Like, once I watch one of these, I have to watch all of them. And that's a pretty good one. So that's it for Don the Dragon Wilson this week. And I had a few more dollars credit. I got one other movie, but I'm going to share it next time. But here I got Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sho Kosugi and Black Eagle. His fight is one-on-one. They try to market this thing as if it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme's actually like the henchman for the villain. And Ken Kosugi is the star of this. But I think he's more marketable around this time. Like, he was really popular when this came out. I think he made this around the same time as Bloodsport, and they didn't know he was a big star. And then Bloodsport, or Cyborg, whatever, was released. So then he got really popular. So then this thing was released, and it's all about Van Damme. But Sho Kosugi's in here. And it's sort of like a spy, kind of like a James Bond movie. It's decent. It might not be the best Sho Kosugi movie, but Sho Kosugi fights with him at least 1.5 times in this movie. Yeah, so I'm glad to have that one in my collection. Okay, here's one I want to highlight. It's called Z War or War Z with Fred Williamson. And this movie's awesome. I didn't realize I had actually seen this one before I had kids, like 15 years ago. My buddy and I would always watch every zombie movie. And then after Walking Dead, it just got like played out, and I lost interest with them. This was towards the end of the time, and it wasn't called this. It was called like Zombie Apocalypse Redemption. And I didn't know this. It's directed by this guy, Ryan Thompson. And I think he had done a previous zombie movie called Zombie Apocalypse or whatever. And so I don't know if this is a sequel or not. But this is an awesome post-apocalyptic, like Mad Max meets Day of the Dead type movie. You can tell this is really inspired by George A. Romero movies. Whoever made this was a fan of those. And it's super low budget. Look, I wrote down here, it's looked up on Internet Movie Database, $56,000 to make this. $56,000. I could make a movie, but I don't know if it would be this good. This has this is back more when zombie movies were fun. Like, they didn't... Walking Dead just ruined everything. Like, it's so freaking serious, and they take it so damn serious. Freaking goofy zombie bullshit. But But this one, it kind of takes itself seriously, but there's some nice little cheese and charm to it. Like it was like an 80s or 90s action movie. There's even like a bad guy. There's a group of raiders, and the leader of them is this guy named, I forget the character's name. The actor's name is Jerry Lynch. And he's like this super over the top macho, like raider leader, like super cartoony villain type guy. And the main guy is this guy. His name is Johnny Gill or Johnny Jill. I don't see him here. Fred Williamson's not even like the main character. He's like the leader of this group of survivors. But the main guy, Johnny Jill, he was an a raider, but he left them and he ran away, and they caught him and tied him up in the desert, but he ended up getting away, and he found this camp with Fred Williamson there, and a beautiful woman, of course, that didn't like him at first, but they fell in love at the end. Fred Williamson's this tough leader. His intro in this is cool, typical Fred Williamson. His name's Moses in there, and then homeboy wakes up after this group found him in the desert, and he wakes up and they're, oh, you got to talk to the boss Moses, and he's all, well, who the F is Moses? And then Fred Williamson walks in with a cigar and says, I'm effing Moses, who the F are you? And then he holds up his cigar, and then you see a hand come in off screen and light his cigar. And he has some cool Fred Williamson type lines in this. You could tell whoever made this was a fan of Fred Williamson and also George Romero type zombie movies. Yeah, fantastic. Really look for low budget. I'm really impressed with this. It has the typical like scenes where the group is going out looking for supplies and they get attacked by raiders and zombies attack. There's all kinds of firearms going off in this movie. Not really much CGI, a lot of practical effects, except for the explosions look kind of cheesy, like that computer explosions that got popular in the 2000s on low-budget stuff. But yeah, I recommend that one as a fun, cheesy. And then the bad guy at the end captures all the women, and the main girl, he dresses her up like Slave Leia and has her captive, and they have to go save the girl. And then there's a bad girl in here, and the good girl fights with her at the end. They're both hot. Freaking great. This little guy, the main guy, Johnny Jill. I don't see him anyway. Oh, there's the bad guy right there. He's so freaking hams it up. The bad guy right here. The main guy, he kind of reminds me of a tiny Jeff Wincott. Like he's pretty good on screen. Like he's a tough guy. He's always smoking. He kind of talks like Jeff Wincott. It looks like a tiny version of Jeff Wincott. But War Z, or it's called Zombie Apocalypse Redemption from 2011. Man, I just went on way too long with that. Frick, man. It's okay. And then I have to pick this up every time I find it for $1. Clash of the Titans. I've talked about that before. I think it's the last movie with Ray Harryhausen. Stop-go effects, like the last like Greek mythology movie like that. But that's one of my favorites. So I'd have another copy of that. And I always pick this up recently to give it away. Cyborg 2 for $1. With Jack Palance, a very young Angelina Jolie, and Casey Jones. What's that guy's name that played Casey Jones? Elias Koteas. I got that one. Oh man, I have a bunch more stuff to talk about. Okay, I found these. I thought I should give these another try. I haven't seen them in years. So I thought for $1 a piece, the Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers, David Niven, Robert Wagner. It's been a long time since I've seen these comedy detective movies about the French detective, the kind of bumbling French detective, Peter Sellers. I remember my dad loved these. He would crack up with these. Here's Pink Panther, The Return of the Pink Panther, and that's Artesian. Ooh. And then Pink Panther Strikes Again. My dad like loved these. I remember I thought they were funny too when I was a kid. Peter Sellers. So I haven't seen those in a long time. So I might get back to you on those. Okay, I'll finish with these two. Oh man. Oh, speaking of Fred Williamson, I should have transitioned into this one after zombie thing. But here's a active stealth, a stealth blackbird or stealth bomber. Yeah, it's a stealth bomber. The kind of like the not the elongated looking one like the stealth blackbird. The stealth bomber. That one right there. And this one has Daniel Baldwin's like an army ranger, and he has a group of rangers are flying to retrieve this. It seems a lot like that other movie I just watched with Michael Dudikoff. It was called I can't remember the name of it, but it looks like it was just cut from the same cloth as that David Duchovny movie with Richard Norton. David Duchovny, goddamn. It's like cut from the same cloth as that Richard Norton and Michael Dudikoff movie I just watched. But this one, they start off. They break Fred Williamson and a bunch of guys out of this. They're like prisoners in the Central American country. The bad guys, this kind of like this suave, middle-aged guy with an accent, like a Spanish accent, and he's like the warlord down there. And his main henchman thug is Terry Funk, the wrestler. He plays like an American mercenary that works for them. And they capture these soldiers, and the first scene of the movie is a group of soldiers going in and rescue Fred Williamson and some other guys. And then I don't know what, some stuff happens, and they end up having one more hostage they have to go back to get. And so they take the guy gets, I can't remember, they get a hold of the stealth bomber somehow, the terrorists, and Daniel Baldwin and his group of guys. One of them is Tim Abel, that was the bad guy from The Base with Mark Dacascos. And he always plays a good, like, soldier type character, that guy. He's one of them. There's a group of soldiers going there to rescue this guy. It turns out there's a bunch of backstabbing going on, and one of them turns bad. Daniel Baldwin's pretty good in it. I haven't really seen him in that many things. I get all the Baldwins confused or mixed up, but I remember he was in Vampires, wasn't he, with John Carpenter's Vampires? Oh, yeah, he was. Daniel Baldwin. But he's like the main army ranger in this. And Terry Funk is in it, so I had to get a movie that has Terry Funk, and Fred Williamson is like the head general. Yeah, I didn't really have much to say about that one. And then this one I like, so I'm glad I found it for $1. The Nautilus with Richard Norton. And this one's this one actually has Richard Norton in a dramatic, like, action role, and he actually does a lot of kung fu and martial arts in this. And it's a sci-fi themed movie. It's about Captain Nemo and the Nautilus, or his name isn't Captain Nemo. It's I can't remember. These guys from the future have this big fancy ship called the Nautilus, and in the future, a chain of events happened where I think it was from like ocean drilling or bombs caused some kind of catastrophe that blew up the world. It made it post-apocalyptic afterwards, and then this group of survivors, a scientist, he's like the captain of the Nautilus, and his daughter, they go back in time to stop the events from happening, and it's like this big company owns this big drilling facility out in the ocean, and they go back in time to stop it. But the Navy and the Army are all protecting this thing, and the guy comes back and he threatens them, and he blows up like a naval ship. And anyway, Richard Norton's in it. He's like the head of security on this facility. And he's fighting with this guy has mercenaries and thugs. There's a lot of plot twists in this, And Richard Norton's in here. He's pretty good actor, I think, for a karate guy. Like he was confronting the captain, and he was saying, I understand. I understand your reasoning, but I don't approve of your methods. I can't. I think I can talk like him. I appreciate your I appreciate your motives, but I don't approve of your methods. But he's cool in this. He does all kinds of action stuff and kung fu in this movie. I think it's from the late 90s. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Is that it? Oh, cool. I got through all of them faster than I thought. All right, cool. Yeah, that's about it for my movies. Go check out the low budget $56,000 movie with Fred Williamson, Z War or War Z, whatever the heck it is. Go check out every Don the Dragon Wilson movie. Go do a Blood Fist marathon. I'm sure they're all on either Netflix or they're on a Tubi or YouTube. Later, guys.